We're back. This is the New Smyrna Beach Police Department disciplinary hearing for Officer Beatty. It was related to an incident with honor your oath. The man walking in is Chief Coffin. He's the chief of police, about to hand down disciplinary action against this officer. The hand that you see on the left is Greg Cook. He's a former police officer with the city of Port Orange. I have a copy of his retirement letter from when he worked there. I have never seen a retirement letter so short in my entire life. I bet he has some policy violations up his sleeve. And now he defends the officer's actions when it comes down to them being subject to internal affairs investigations and grievances. But more importantly, I want to bring your attention to the chief. We're going to explore how he's a hypocrite, how he punishes his officers, but he violates the same very laws and policies. So if you ever wonder where officers might learn behavior from, this might be an indicator. The city manager did a quote-unquote investigation and gave him a warning for his actions. With my past law enforcement experience, I'm going to break this video down.
Okay. Today's date is January 19th, 2022. The time is approximately 2:29 p.m. for Industrial Park Avenue in New Smyrna Beach. This is a predetermination hearing under IA 2021-006. Present is myself, Chief Coffin, Lieutenant Mark Severance, Officer Christopher Beatty, and Greg Cook. Greg, what is your official title with IUPA?
Business agent.
Business agent. I can't get that right. Okay, so the purpose of this predetermination hearing is to give you, Officer Beatty, a chance to provide any information that I may not have in order to make a decision, or to give me any information that you feel is important. Have you been provided with all the documents for the IA?
I have.
Had a chance to review them?
I have.
You understand this meeting is being recorded?
I do.
And do you have any issue with that?
No.
Okay. So if you've been provided with all documents, you've seen that the investigating officer has sustained the violation Group 2, Section M.
What he's referring to is the Code of Ordinances set forth as law for employees and their conduct and how to handle complaints.
Violating the rules, orders, policies issued and adopted by the City Commission, City Manager, Department Head. Specifically, PPD 15-2, Section 15-2-17, investigative detentions.
Right.
Okay, floor is yours.
In hindsight, I should have investigated much deeper than I did before detaining him. So I already told Lieutenant Severance that I understand that I'm in violation of that. When during the call, I was under the impression that the way to sound that he was actually on private property and trespassed, that he was asked to leave, and that his waitresses were scared. So after investigating that, I found out there was nothing, and unhandcuffed him and made him right and told me he was free to go. I felt that I did it in a professional manner, and obviously was unaware that he was who he was. Not that that matters, but looking back, hindsight, I could have investigated with Galt standing there further, or had the information that Galt had.
Okay. Anything more?
No, sir.
He was baiting.
No question.
No question about it. And he baited him, and he's admitted to making some mistakes there. Don't think it was intentional. Didn't go in there to intentionally. Wasn't a for lack of a better term, pissing off the police thing or anything like that. I watched the video. My opinion, I didn't think it was that bad. I think the guy had a minimal detention.
I cannot wait to dig into this guy's background. If he thinks minimal detentions are okay, we're going to have a field day with his background.
He wasn't thrown to the ground. He wasn't tased. Was it did the violation occur? Yeah, he did procedurally, but he also didn't go into it looking to do that. It was a mistake, and I think all of us sitting here have been police officers. I think mistakes have been made in all of our careers, and especially with this, this guy was probably, in my opinion, doing stuff that would elicit the very call that came into to dispatch that he wanted in order to create the confusion. He's not new to this, and I think that should be consideration. And he walked blindly right into it. Both of the officers. I have seen this same group go out there and fly or act like they're flying a whatever those
Drone.
drones.
And what Greg Cook is referring to is this situation where I was charging my phone with a drone controller. I wasn't flying, never gave any indication that I was flying, but he likes to use the word bait. And that's what the chief does as well.
And looking up, and the officers out there telling them there's no drone, they're just out there baiting the officer. So, you know, I hope that you guys give that the due consideration. And to speak to his professionalism, I actually, once I found out about it, went onto the website. And he's followed around, and he's cussed at, and he's belittled.
Once again, Greg Cook using me as an example.
None. You the one that detained the guy with the sign over there on Canal?
Yeah, it was over there.
Oh, so you're the piece of shit then. What's your name? What is your name?
Chris?
Your last name I don't know.
Beatty?
Beatty, yeah, it was you. All right. Way to go, dude. Piece of shit of the night.
And I think that speaks to his professionalism, and that he didn't, you know, he made a mistake, and he's letting this guy voice his, you know, his constitutional freedom of speech, and he doesn't get derogatory, he doesn't do anything. He takes it, he gets in his car, he does his job. I think as a whole, if you look at it as a whole, I think, yes, it was a mistake. It was not an intentional mistake. They got you. And I think that we shouldn't, my personal opinion is all these officers out here, there's going to be a mistake, and to have hammer them with the discipline when in a situation like this for a group that is coming after the officers to elicit this very kind of reaction.
That's part of the predetermination hearing, Greg. I mean, I look at all the circumstances.
Right.
The factual stuff and the underlying issues that are there. So, I mean, all of that is absolutely looked at. Less than a half hour before this, he came and tried to bait me.
And apparently the chief took the bait and violated policy and procedure. He failed to turn on his body camera when making contact with Honor Your Oath. And after receiving a public records request, I've learned that the chief has handed down disciplinary action against officers for not turning their body camera on. Honor Your Oath was at the city commission meeting, holding a sign and saying, "God bless the homeless." The chief came up to him and initiated a consensual encounter with Honor Your Oath. Now this is the chief. He does wear a body camera. You can see it right there in the center of his chest. Let's take a listen to the encounter.
Hello, welcome to City Hall. God bless the homeless vet.
Hey.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Everything good?
Yes, sir. Everything's good. How are you?
I'm well.
All right. How you doing, sir?
In the commission meeting.
Right.
And I didn't fall into the trap, you know. I think that sometimes officers should just take a second and just take a hot minute or a deep breath and say, what is going on here? And when someone challenges us, not take it personally. They're not challenging me or you or whatever. They're challenging the uniform, the badge. It's like we just happen to be wearing it, so we shouldn't take personal
Can you just
offense
watch
to
my
it.
bike while I go over here and talk to this lady? Yes.
And Chief Coffin's response on this incident, where this man was holding a sign, alerting drivers that cops were behind them in efforts to have them slow down or be alerted. What does the chief do? He drives up to the man on his motorcycle, and according to the man, he rips the sign or snatches the sign out of his hands and takes it from him. And once again, the chief has violated policy by not activating his body camera and approaching this man, taking the sign, failing to complete a property report, and also violating his First Amendment rights. The only thing we have to go off of is this apology letter that was sent out to the man who was holding the sign that says "Cops Behind Me." But it was only sent out after I uncovered the issues with the police chief not recording and violating people's rights. On the surface, that sounds like a theft. On this incident where the video was recorded, you can see the chief folding up a sign and placing it on his motorcycle. His body camera was not active in the beginning when he took the sign out of the yard, so we'll never know where it is. I've checked the Florida database to see if this chief is a surveyor, and he's not. The police chief also did not do a report for this, instead violating his due process, violating his rights on this man's birthday. The sign just said, "You honk, I drink." And just like in the previous incident, I've asked for a copy of the sign or a property receipt. They could provide me nothing. Now the city manager launched some type of investigation and made the chief apologize. That investigation should have been forwarded to Fdle as a theft, but instead it's covered up under policy violations on a level 2 violation. And a warning was given to the chief by the city manager. While the other officers are getting suspended, the chief appears to be above the law. The city manager cited that this was his first time offense. But again, the dangerous part of this is he doesn't turn on his body camera when he encounters people that are expressing First Amendment rights that are not recording themselves. And that's why you should always record the police. So how many incidents has this chief committed that are like this? That's what I want to know. If you have any information about Chief Coffin, please send it in to jamesmadisonaudits@gmail.com. I've received one tip from a female that was charged with stalking, where a city employee filed stalking charges against her. The case was dropped, but it all stems around this chief.